Hey guys, I woke up to a lot of questions about pets today. I literally just woke up and I read all the messages, so I decided to log into the NA server and kind of do a quick rundown of all the skills that the pets have. So let's go ahead and start with the 8 pets down here. So Sohi, that's the skill that you're going to be getting. Any moving speed within range is reduced by 3%, stacking up to 3 times, equaling 9%. Open after entering the battle, costs 2 SP per second. Close after leaving the battle or when SP is lower than 10%. So it automatically procs for you. So it's like an auto kiting tool. Really good if you're trying to kite. Mostly useful in PvP, PvE, not so much because, you're probably just going to be autoing anyway. Okay, Lady Candle Tear. When your pet enters combat, it heals all allies within range 1 time, restoring their HP and SP by 20%. Coloseo Heal. Next one is Bartender Mouse. Voodoo Miasma. After using this skill, poison the nearby enemies, lowering their HP for every 100 agility. Lower their HP by 1.5 times its pet's level per second, and reducing their movement speed by 1% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 50 times. So this one's a pretty crazy one. We've tested this one in NA before. It does a lot of damage, and obviously the movement speed debuff is kind of crazy when it stacks too. But you'll likely not reach that point where you can stack 50 before the target even dies. So next one is Desert Otter, Agility Blast. When the pet attacks with this skill, it deals 28% neutral physical damage. In addition, the pet deals an additional 10% neutral physical damage for every 75 points of agility. Has a 5-second cooldown. SP cost is kind of low. Decent single target damage. And this one, people probably want to find out this one because it's the one that you get for 99 cents. Sonic Blow unleashes the potential within delivering an 8 combo attack to a single target, dealing 900% neutral physical damage to that enemy with a 2% chance to send them for 1 second. The stun is negligible. The damage is decent, especially if it's a Bafo Junior that you can get for 99 cents. It's a cheap option for physical damage classes. Now, you have to pay attention that it does scale with physical, so when you're trying to get its attack up, it's beneficial for physical damage characters like, assassin, knights, but for magic, not so much. So don't be surprised if you don't get as much of a bonus from this pet if you're a magic user. Next one is King Pig. When you take fatal damage, you become invincible for 3 seconds and recover HP to 40% of your max HP. This effect has a 60-second cooldown. So the thing about this pet is it's very misleading. It says when you take fatal damage, it's actually not you, it's the pet. So don't think that you're going to be getting a free Osiris card from just having this pet. Next one here is Pierce Combo. Consecutively lunge at a single target for 4 times, dealing 100% neutral physical damage. Very underwhelming skill. Okay, next up is Raccoon Walker. Doesn't have a skill. Can't click on anything there. Okay. The next one is Fire Spirit. A Meteor Storm summons 4 meteorites at random locations within the target area to attack enemies, each meteorite dealing 400% fire magic damage up to 10 monsters within range. The meteorites have a 5% chance to stun their targets for 1.5 seconds. Stun is negligible, but the 4 meteorites dealing a total of 1600% fire magic damage, stuck with fire magic damage. So it's good for earth monsters, obviously, but the only thing about this is it is AoE. So if it AoEs a group and you're only trying to do single target and this meteor storm is not enough to kill them, you're going to be facing a lot of mobs that you might not want to be facing all at the same time. The next one is Millie. This one is one of the best, I believe for me, this is one of the best pets to replace the lack of Priest Mercenary. Heals 4 nearest friendly targets within range for 40% of your HP. This and the Coloseo heal is pretty good, but this one is really good here because it's 40% of your max HP and reduce the casting time of the next skill by 50% for 10 seconds, which is really, really nice, especially if you're going solo as like a wizard or something. The effect will be removed once the skill expires or immediately after casting. Not stackable with Suffragium. Understandable. This one, the buff itself is not too good for ME Priests because you already have Suffragium. Also, if you're a ME Priest, you probably already have heal. So this one right here is the Flame Chicken. Battle Blessing. When the pet uses this skill, it deals 500% neutral physical damage to the target and has a 30% chance to add an effect to the owner for 3 seconds. The effect is randomly selected from attack speed 20%, attack and magic attack plus 20%, crit damage plus 20%, and crit plus 20. Obviously, if you're a physical damage class, any of this would be good for you, besides the magic attack. But it is very much RNG. It is in very short bursts, 3 seconds. The cooldown itself is 10 seconds. 3 seconds out of 10 seconds that you get a random buff that might up your kill speed. It's not too bad. Should be especially useful if you're MVPing too. You get like, those random bursts of damage that might up your DPS a little bit. And the more you have attack, the more you have magic attack, obviously the more it scales, right? So it's a really good quick burst of damage to have a pet. Next one is Divination Cat, Divine Shield. When your pet attacks, it has a 20% chance to generate a shield that equals 8% of their max HP for itself and its master, respectively. Shield lasts 15 seconds. This skill has a built-in 10-second cooldown. So even though the shield might last 15 seconds, if it gets destroyed before 10 seconds, you're not going to have that shield up. Obviously, really good pet for support, for survivability, really decent pet. This one's a bit switch, is one of the early favorites. Takes 4 rounds of powerful electric currents at the target area, dealing 40% wind damage up to 10 monsters, 6% chance to blind within targets. Blind is negligible, but the damage for this for mobs is pretty good, I would say. The only thing is, again, it's an AoE, so if you're trying to single target damage in mobs to grind, like you're bolting as a mage, for example, might not be the best idea. You don't want to get overwhelmed. Next one here is Teapot Rabbit. Drinks on me. Teapot Rabbit sprays for water forward, dealing 300% water attribute magic damage to 6 enemies, and increasing 10% water attribute skill damage for itself and its owner. So this one is good for, let's say, like Cold Bolt. For some part of the mid-game meta, there's going to be there might be like a little bit of a water ball meta as well. Not for a very long time, for a very short brief period of time where it can one-shot people still. This would be pretty good on it. All right, next up is Dr. Owl. Dr. Owl fire a wind attribute arrow that deals 500% wind attribute physical damage and makes the enemy take 20% more range physical damage for 6 seconds. Obviously, this is wind attribute physical damage is whatever. It's a decent amount of damage, not a big deal, but it makes the enemy damage to take 20% more range physical damage for 6 seconds. So obviously really good for archers. Archers might want to get this pet if they're looking for a physical attack supportive pet. And Chinchilla Guitarist. No black note. Play death music. Deal 120% dark magic damage to hostile targets within 5 meters. Around music lasts 3 seconds. Can deal 5 damages. Or 5 ticks, pretty much. So it's like a AoE damage. It's kind of reminiscent of like ugly dance done by dancers to a lesser degree, obviously. So not very impressive. This one right here, Corgi basis. Launch a pale note, white note along a straight line. Enemies being hit will take 20% dark magic damage, and their attack speed and movement speed will be reduced by 10% for 2 seconds. Not very good. I'm not very impressed with it. Baby arm. Huddle the body to reduce damage taken by 60% and restore 20% HP. Deal a small amount of damage and taunt all enemy targets within 5 meters of range. I'm not sure if we have this already, but this is a decent tank for people who were missing the Knight Mercenary. Harpy. Launch a Hurricane Blast to deal 350% wind damage to the target in front and knock the target back. Decent displacement skill. Damage not so hot, so I wouldn't really recommend this one. Okay, Alice, the one that everybody probably went for. Bomb Pouring. Summons one giant pouring that self-destructs, dealing 350% neutral magic damage to enemies. Very underwhelming. If you're going for AoE, you might as well go Abyss Switch, for example, or the other one with Meteors. Okay. Next one is Squidget. Dance a sea monster's dance, increasing the gear magic attack, and attribute magic attack of all friendly targets within range by 15% for 10 seconds. The damage boost effect resets 1 time per second. So this is a 10-second buff with cooldown of 30 seconds, SP cost 30. I would have to say that this is one of the more better buffs that you would get. It's one of the reasons why I have it on my wish list on my summons in global. Next one is Chepet. Chepet summons one goblin. The goblin will deal 100% neutral physical damage to targets within 10 meters. The goblin can survive 10 seconds in the field, and its attack will generate a lot of aggro, right? So it's kind of like a tank-ish pet for physical damage users. Okay, Spirit of the Breeze. Now these ones are Spirit of the Breeze, Pure Ocean Current, Son of the Earth, and Searing Incarnation. These ones obviously you can get in a specific like shop, not really the summons. When you go into your shop, you'll see them there. But let's start it off. Wall of Whirlwind. Release a Wall of Whirlwind in the target point that deals continuous damage to an area within a range of 5. So it's like a firewall, but kind of like a whirlwind type of thing. The wall whirlwind will rotate to cause continuous damage equals to 65% of the fairy's wind attribute damage up to 5 targets for 30 seconds. When you have a choice with these 4, I'll tell you my preference. It's going to be this one right here. And I'll tell you why after. Okay, this one here is Pure Ocean Current. Heal targets within 5 meters around you every 2 seconds. The amount of healing equal to 130% of pet magic attack. Effect lasts 4 seconds. You have to spend currency to get this. So the heal itself is pretty decent. Scales well. The only thing is, I don't quite recommend it because you're expending the currency that you could get the golem for. But it is a decent magic attack pet if you decide to go that route. If you badly need a healer and you don't have Acorn heal yet. Son of the Earth. This one, I like this one a lot. So damage sharing takes all damage for the master. Child of the Earth takes 150% of the damage taken by the target for 10 seconds. Yes, the 150% damage taken by the target for 10 seconds. If you read the skill, it's basically like having your own mini paladin following you around. and it does take a decent amount of damage. It's, you know, it is a physical monster, but even as a magic user, I probably would still invest in it, and I would invest a lot into its defense and into its HP. Last one of the four is the Flaming Punches. Launches consecutive strikes and deals 70% fire magic damage to an enemy. Yes, he kind of looks cool, but the Flaming Punches is very underwhelming. Pixu, I don't think we have this yet, but let me just read it anyway. Pixu spits out a giant gold coin, which has 50% of Pixu's HP. The gold coin taunts 3 random non-player enemies within around 8 meters for 4 seconds, then 70%, and it goes up to 100%. It's a good tank for PvE. Every basic attack increases its attack speed by 20%, lasts for 3 seconds up to 5 times, so stacks up to 5 times. It's a very good attack speed pet, even its passive is attack speed. And obviously when you get it higher stars, it's going to start buffing it up even more. From a pet perspective, pet power perspective, without taking into consideration your own personal power, this pet looks to be pretty good actually. Especially for extended fights like boss fights, if they can survive. All right, Dunel. This pet is notorious for physical damage users, by like assassins, because of this skill right here, Elemental Breath. It does get countered by fire, but regardless of that, it does tend to deal quite a bit of damage. Flap your wings, dealing 40% fire attribute physical damage to enemies within range. Also cause an explosion after a 1.5 second delay if you survive within that time, dealing 1600 fire attribute physical damage. Meanwhile, after you have dealt the damage for the first time, reduce the attack speed and movement speed of your target by 80% for 30 seconds. It says of your target because before you can cast Elemental Breath, you have to damage something first. So that's the target that gets damaged, but it still does that huge AoE. Well, regardless of like, because of the damage amount, regardless of how much, if you're doing AoE or you're doing single target, it's gonna do tons of damage regardless. And this one, next one here is the Antasha model. Use a skill to create an explosion, dealing 1000% neutral damage to an enemy within your range. This one, when it's like auto attacking by itself, it feels like pretty strong, but it doesn't really compare to what Dunel can do, so it's very underwhelming for me. Overall, Dunel does a better job than Antasha. Next one is Ghost Samurai. Whenever its master deals damage, Ghost Samurai gains 1 stack of Ghost Fire. When Ghost Samurai has 9 stacks of Ghost Fire, he casts Ghost Fire Burst, which deals damage to the target 9 times and removes all Ghost Fire stacks. So it's a stacking. It's good for high attack speed enemies, highest attack speed classes. Ghost Samurai consumes all his stacks of Ghost Fire to attack the target with Sharp Blade Energy, dealing 700% fire physical damage, with the chance to inflict Ghost Fire Scorch on the enemy. Ghost Fire Scorch obviously reduces defense and magic defense. Ghost Fire Scorch cannot be stacked, so it's only up to 5%. These ones we don't have yet, but I'll read it anyway. Sets up a drum kit, increases the damage against humanoids of up to 5 friendly targets within a 7-meter radius by 8% for 6 seconds, dealing 1100 dark magic damage for 5 random enemies. 5 random enemies within a 7-meter radius, then strikes the drum 6 consecutive times within the next 4 seconds, dealing 450% dark magic damage with each strike. Reduce 10% of the damage dealt by enemies in range during this period. So it's quite a bit of setup. Looks good. I wouldn't get it over, obviously, Dunel. Super Gravity Field. Controls the gravity field to pull all targets within a 5-meter radius to your side, reducing their movement speed by 30%. And when controlling the field, Earth Lord will taunt the targets and reduce the damage taken by 60% for 5 seconds. So this is a really good tank pet. I would recommend getting this one over, say like Antasha, for example. Fire Lord, I believe this is single target. Launches 6 consecutive strikes on the target in front, dealing 900% fire net magic damage. Passive is 100% damage to small, 150% damage to medium, and 150% damage to large monsters. So pretty good pet for MVPing as long as they can survive. And then the one we have here is the newest one right now, is Divine Rabbit Lulu. Lulu sways its flower lantern gently and casts a shield for itself and its owner, which lasts for 10 seconds. The shield can absorb 900% of Lulu's M attack, plus 40% of its owner's maximum HP, and void damage up to 500% of the shield amount, and then clear all the shield amount. So this is a very loaded pet. Obviously, it's a magic pet. If you're a wizard, if you're a priest, if you're, it's just a crazy, really loaded pet. If you can get this, if you can afford to get this all the way to 6-star, absolutely get it to 6-star. It's very worth getting it to 6-star. At 6-star, Lantern Shield can now absorb 3000% of Lulu's magic attack, plus 40% of its owner's maximum HP. And while the shield is active, the armor attributes of Lulu when its owner will be converted into Holy. When the shield is broken, grants 95% damage reduction, lasts for 3 seconds. So anybody with this pet, whenever this pet comes out and gets it to 6-star, is going to be very, very difficult to kill. All the free-to-play are crying right now. Yeah, that's it. Volcanic Bulldog, eventually we might get this. It just gives you a 20% shield yourself and deals some decent damage. It's a physical pet. That pretty much sums it up for all the pet skills. Hopefully that helped you guys out and that answers quite a bit of questions. Catch you guys next time. Peace.